30 minutes before the college entrance exam. My childhood sweetheart, Lin Jiaojiao, suddenly went mad and lunged forward, snatching my admission ticket and tearing it to pieces in front of everyone. She protectively shielded the poor student beside her, Qi Jingran, who was pretending to be pitiful, and said confidently, "You're so good at your studies and come from a wealthy family. What's the big deal about missing one exam? Jingran's family is so poor. This is his only chance to change his fate. This admission ticket should be considered as you giving it to him. Why won't you?" I looked at the shredded paper scattered all over the floor, so furious that I laughed instead, then suddenly raised my hand. Rip, rip, before the two of them could react. I snatched their exam admission tickets and tore them to pieces as well, then threw the shreds right in their faces. Lin Jiaojiao let out a sharp cry, staring at me in disbelief. "Are you insane? This is the college entrance exam. You've ruined Jingran's life." I laughed bitterly in rage. "You tore mine, so I can't tear yours. Fine, let's all fail together. If we're going to die, we die together." Lin Jiaojiao was completely panicked, and Lin Jingran was so terrified he collapsed to the ground. Looking at the two of them, utterly desperate and broken, I couldn't help but sneer coldly inside. They had no idea that I had already secured a guaranteed admission to Tsinghua and Peking University a month ago. Coming to the exam today was just a formality, a way to experience life. "I have a recommendation spot, but you don't." Lin Jiaojiao stared at her and Qi Jingran's admission tickets, now shattered into pieces, and screamed hysterically, "Duan Jingxian, do you know what you're doing could ruin Jingran's entire life? How can you be so cruel?" "I ruined him." I let out a cold laugh and patted the paper scraps off my hands. "It was you who tore my admission ticket first." "What? So, only the officials can set fires, but the common people aren't allowed to light a lamp. What's wrong? Do you think you're the Queen Mother descending to Earth and everyone has to indulge you?" Lin Jiaojiao was so furious she trembled all over, hugging Qi Jingran, who had collapsed on the ground, into her arms, tears streaming down her face with concern. "Jingran, don't be afraid. I'm here. I will never let this wicked person succeed." Sure, Jingran's face was deathly pale, his eyes rimmed red. He choked back a sob and said, "Judge, let it go. It's all my fault. I shouldn't have made Jin Xian angry. As a poor person like me, I never deserved to take the college entrance exam or change my fate. Even if I passed, I couldn't afford the tuition. Brother Jin Xian was right to tear it up. I was just deluding myself." "Shut up," I shouted angrily, pointing at his nose and yelling. "Stop acting like an innocent victim here. You can't afford the tuition because you have no money. Didn't you just buy the latest iPhone 17 Pro last month? Did Max 1 terabyte fall from the sky? Did you get those limited edition AJ shoes on your feet by picking through trash? Why the hell are you pretending to be a poor student? Are you sick of being disgusting?" Sure, Jingran shrank into Lin Jiaojiao's arms in fear, sobbing, "Judge, I didn't. I bought all those with the money I saved from our jobs. I just wanted to look decent, so that people wouldn't think you're embarrassed to be friends with me. Listen, just listen to how considerate Jingran is." Lin Jiaojiao turned to glare at me. "Duan Jinxian, you come from a rich family. Of course you don't understand the suffering of the poor. You, a rich young master born with a silver spoon in your mouth. Besides envying Jingran's talent, what else do you know? You're just afraid that Jingran will score higher than you and steal your spotlight. So you deliberately tore up his exam admission ticket." I was so angry that I laughed instead. "I'm jealous of him. I'm first in the grade, and he's last. What could I possibly be jealous of? Jealous that he can play the victim? Jealous that he can live off others? Or jealous that his face is thicker than a city wall?" At that moment, the security guards outside the examination room and our homeroom teacher, Mr. Li, rushed over upon hearing the noise. Old Li pushed through the crowd and squeezed in, urgently asking, "What's going on?" "We're about to enter the examination hall. What are you all doing?" But when he saw the scattered fragments of admission tickets on the ground, his already worrying hairline seemed to retreat another centimeter. Sweating profusely, he asked, "What's going on? Who tore up these admission tickets? Who did this?" "Lin Jiaojiao," standing nearby, immediately accused me, pointing at me and shouting loudly, "Teacher, Lin Duanjianxian has gone crazy. He's jealous of Jingran and deliberately tore up Jingran's and my exam admission tickets. He wants to prevent us from taking the exam." Old Li looked at me in shock. "Duanjianxian, is what Jiao Jiao said true? Did you really tear up their admission tickets?" I explained expressionlessly. "Teacher, Lin Jiao Jiao tore mine up first. She went crazy, insisting on giving my exam opportunity to Qi Jingran and rushed over to tear it up. I was just giving her a taste of her own medicine." "You're lying," Lin Jiao Jiao screamed. "It was clearly you who started it. Jingran can testify. Everyone around can testify." The surrounding examinees, who had been busy reviewing or nervously preparing for the exam, hadn't paid any attention to what was happening here just now. Hearing Lin Jiao Jiao's words, they all turned to look with suspicion. Qi Jingran promptly began sobbing. "Teacher, I'm sorry. It's all my fault. Brother Jianxian has always had it in for me, thinking I'm not worthy of being Jiao Jiao's friend. Today, he suddenly lashed out, and I couldn't stop him. I snapped angrily, 'That's Qi Jingran. Do you dare swear to heaven that, if you started it, you'll get hit by a car the moment you step outside?' Old Li beside me cut in sharply. "Enough. Is now the time to figure out who started it. Without your exam admission tickets, how are you going to enter the exam hall? You're gambling with your own futures." Qi Jingran closed his eyes in despair. "Teacher, I won't take the exam. After all, I don't have my admission ticket anymore. Maybe this is just my fate." Yet, the next second, he turned to Lin Jiao Jiao with deep affection and said, "It doesn't matter if I can't go to college, but you can't miss out. Jiao Jiao, go and beg the teacher quickly. See if you can get a replacement ticket. You can't let me ruin your future. No, if you're not taking the exam, then I won't either." Lin Jiao Jiao was moved to tears, clutching Qi Jingran's hand tightly. "Without you, what would be the point of me getting into Tsinghua or Peking University?" I watched the two of them gazing deeply into each other's eyes in the center of the crowd and almost threw up. What a touching drama of love stronger than gold. I clapped sarcastically. "Look, Teacher Li. They're even willing to give up university just to protect their great love. Why don't you officiate their wedding right here and now and let these star-crossed lovers have their happy ending?" Old Li was so angry that his temples throbbed. "Duanjianxian, stop with your sarcastic remarks." He seemed to want to say something, but after glancing at the growing crowd around him, he swallowed his words. I knew he wanted to mention my recommendation, but at this critical moment, he didn't want to escalate things, so he held back. Just then, a shrill bell rang out. Ding, ding, ding. This was the final signal urging candidates to enter the examination hall. The surrounding candidates scattered instantly, rushing hurriedly toward the entrance of the exam room, and Lin Jiao Jiao and Qi Jingran, who had just been as close as ever, turned pale at the sound of the bell, which seemed to be calling for their lives. Lin Jiao Jiao finally snapped out of her love drama and, in a panic, grabbed old Li's arm, pleading, "Teacher, what should we do? I and Jingran can't miss the college entrance exam. Please, can you help us think of a way?" Qi Jingran also quickly grabbed Lao Li's other arm, pleading, "Teacher Li, can you please talk to the examiner and ask for leniency? Let me take the exam. I don't want to repeat the year. I am from a poor family, and we really don't have the money to support me repeating again." Lao Li was being held by both of them, one arm on each side, and was so flustered he felt like his head was splitting in two. "You only realize you're wrong now. Where were you earlier? Let go of me. I need to get inside and maintain order. Let the other students in." No. Lin Jiao Jiao clung on tightly, refusing to let go, and shamelessly insisted, "If you don't agree to help us, we won't let go." I stood with my arms crossed, watching calmly, the smile at the corner of my mouth growing colder. How amusing. A saint and a white lotus. What a perfect match made in heaven. Oldie, unable to shake them off, could only shout at the security guard not far away, "Chao Wang, come help me pull them apart. Hurry." Two security guards rushed over and, with great effort, managed to tear Lin Jiao Jiao and Shi Jingran off Oldie. After regaining his freedom, Oldie heaved a huge sigh of relief and hurried into the examination hall to restore order. But, before leaving, he turned back and glared at me fiercely, saying with exasperation, "Duan Jin Xian, you wait right here. I'll settle the score with you when I come out." I shrugged indifferently as the examination hall door slowly closed. The outside instantly fell silent. Only the three of us remained, along with a group of onlooking parents pointing at us and a mess of scattered paper fragments on the ground. Lin Jiaojiao stared at the tightly shut door, as if all her strength had been drained, and she slumped to the ground. Shi Jingran was still desperately pounding on the iron door, crying out, "Open the door. Let me in. Please, let me take the exam." However, there was no response from inside. Watching Shi Jingran's breakdown, Lin Jiaojiao was heartbroken. She suddenly turned to glare at me with reddened eyes, gritting her teeth. "It's all your fault, Duan Jin Xian. It's you. You ruined everything. You ruined Jingran's life. I hate you. I'll hate you for the rest of my life. Hate me." I slowly walked to her and crouched down, meeting her gaze at eye level. The wind lifted my bangs, and then I flashed her a dazzling smile. "Shouldn't you be thanking me instead? If it weren't for me, how could you possibly see just how in love this man beside you really is for you? He's even given up his future. Well, how touching." I glanced at Shi Jingran, still wailing at the doorway, and deliberately dragged out my words. "Didn't you always love this kind of drama where someone sacrifices everything for love? Now, it's exactly as you wish. Why aren't you smiling? You're absolutely despicable." Lin Jiaojiao was so furious she raised her hand to hit me. My gaze turned cold as I mercilessly seized her wrist. "Ah!" she cried out in pain, a red mark instantly appearing on her wrist. I flung her hand away, stood up, and looked down at her from above. "Don't push your luck. I'm only playing along with you today because I'm in a good mood. If you really piss me off, do you think it's just a matter of not getting into college?" Lin Jiaojiao couldn't help but freeze. She knows me too well. We grew up together, and she knows I never make idle threats. But once I say something, I always follow through. Just then, my phone rang. It was my dad. I answered the call, keeping my tone light. "Hello, Dad. Jin Xian. Got her from your teacher Li that you tore someone's exam admission ticket. What's going on? Didn't you say you were just going to experience the college entrance exam atmosphere? How did you end up having a conflict with someone?" My dad's tone was urgent, and in the background, I could hear my mom's anxious questioning. "It's fine, Dad." I chuckled lightly, "Just ran into a couple of mad dogs and helped them sober up physically." There was a moment of silence on the other end of the line, followed by my dad's voice, suppressed with anger. "Was it that girl from the Lin family again?" "Yeah. And she brought along a burden." "You damn thing," my dad angrily shouted. "How does the Lin family raise their daughter? I'm calling your Uncle Lin right now. And you, get home immediately. This stupid exam isn't worth taking anyway." "Don't go, Dad," I said lazily. "The best part is just getting started. It'd be so boring if I left. Just wait. Your mom and I will be there right away." The phone call ended. I put away my phone, looking at Lin Jiaojiao, whose face was growing increasingly pale, and Shi Jingran, who had finally stopped wailing, and smiled. It seems this matter won't end peacefully today. In less than 20 minutes, 2 black sedans parked one after the other at the school gate. My parents and Lin Jiaojiao's parents got out of the cars almost simultaneously. "Jin Xian." My mom rushed over as soon as she got out of the car, anxiously looking me up and down. "Are you okay? Are you hurt? What could possibly happen?" I patted her hand reassuringly. On the other side, Lin Jiaojiao's mother and Zhou also rushed toward her daughter. "Jiaojiao, my precious daughter, what's wrong?" And Shou held Lin Jiaojiao, who was slumped on the ground, and cried bitterly. Uncle Lin, with a dark expression, quickly walked up to my father. "Old Duan, you owe me an explanation for this." My father let out a cold snort. "I still need to ask you for an explanation. Your daughter tore up my son's admission ticket. How do you plan to settle this?" It was Duan Jinshin who started it. As soon as Lin Jiaojiao saw her parents arrive, she immediately regained her confidence. pointing at me and screaming. He's jealous of Jingran. He just doesn't want us to be happy. Shut up. Uncle Lin turned and snapped at her. But the displeasure in his eyes was directed at my dad. My dad stood his ground. Old Lin, with all the years of friendship between our families, don't you know what kind of temper Jinshin has? He wouldn't do something like this unless he was pushed to the brink. But the result now is that all 3 kids are ruined. Uncle Lin said with deep anguish, Jiao Jiao is our only daughter. If she can't get into college, our lives will be over. My mother also got angry. Then when your daughter ruined my son, why didn't you think he was our only son? Seeing that both sets of parents were about to start arguing, Qi Jingran, who had been hiding behind, began his performance again. He suddenly dropped to his knees with a thud and started banging his head on the ground toward both sets of parents. Uncle, Auntie, it's all my fault. It has nothing to do with Jiao Jiao or Brother Jinshin. It's my fault. I am the one who made Brother Jinshin angry. If you want to blame someone, blame me. Please, stop arguing. He cried with tears streaming down his face. His forehead reddened from knocking it on the ground. What a magnificent white lotus in his flourishing age. And Shou immediately overflowed with maternal love, stepping forward to help him up. Good child, get up quickly. This isn't your fault. She turned to glare at me, her eyes filled with venom. Duan Jinshin, look at what you've driven Jingran to. He's so kind and sensible. How could you bring yourself to do this to him? My dad was so angry he nearly fainted. You dad, Mom. I stopped them and walked to Qi Jingran. Don't kneel. The ground is cold. I took out my wallet, pulled out a stack of red bills about 10,000 yuan and threw it directly in his face. These funds are enough for you to buy a new outfit and a few pairs of limited edition shoes. Consider it as a reward from your big brother for your outstanding performance today. The money on his face then scattered all over the ground. Qi Jingran's crying abruptly stopped and he froze completely. Everyone was stunned by my action. Duan Jingxian, you've gone too far. Lin Jiaojiao was the first to react. Rushing forward to push me, I sidestepped and she missed, nearly falling. Too far. I sneered. Isn't he fond of money? I gave it to him. What? Is it not enough? I glanced at Qi Jingran, his face flushed with anger, his eyes revealing greed and humiliation he couldn't hide. You're insulting me. Insulting you. I sneered. Do you even deserve it? I stepped on a 100 yuan bill, leaned down slightly, and whispered into his ear in a voice only the 2 of you as could hear. Stop pretending. I know how you got that money. Should I expose all the things you did to deceive those girls? Qi Jingran's pupils suddenly narrowed and his whole body began to tremble. He stared at me in terror, his lips quivering, but he couldn't utter a single word. I straightened up, watching his reaction with satisfaction. Seems I was right. What are you talking about? Lin Jiaojiao looked at us warily. Nothing much. I smiled. Just talked about life ideals with your brother Jingran. I advised him not to be too greedy. Things that don't belong to you, even if snatched away, will eventually have to be returned. My words carried a hidden meaning, but Lin Jiaojiao didn't catch it. She only thought I was humiliating Qi Jingran, glaring at me even more angrily. Just then, the bell for the end of the first exam rang. The doors of the examination hall opened and the candidates poured out. The commotion on our side instantly drew everyone's attention. Look quickly. It's them. That man is Duan Jingxian tore up the other 2 people's admission tickets. I heard it was because the girl cheated on him. So he turned love into hate. No way. I heard it was that poor student who was too outstanding. He was jealous and deliberately ruined someone else's future. Oh my God. This rich second generation is too evil. No way. I recognize a few people over there. Isn't he ranked last in the grade? While the rich kid is actually number 1 in the grade. It's just too ridiculous for the top student to be jealous of the bottom one. Oh my God. So he was pretending to be pitiful. This guy is way too manipulative. So disgusting. Lin Jiajiao and Shi Jingran were pointed at and gossiped so many people, their faces turning red and pale in turn. Especially Shi Jingran. What he cared about most was his image of poverty and purity. Being watched by everyone in public was almost worse than death to him. Uncle Lin and Aunt Shui looked extremely distressed. Both were proud people who had never been so publicly criticized before. What are you all staring at? What's so interesting to look at? Aunt Shui couldn't help but scream. But this only sparked even more curiosity. On the school's forum and local social media, posts about the shocking incident of a torn admission ticket at the college entrance exam had already piled up like skyscrapers, with discussions growing increasingly heated. Old Duan, look at this mess. Uncle Lin was frantic. We have to resolve this immediately. Otherwise, both our families will be utterly humiliated. My father's face turned ashen as he pulled out his phone, seemingly ready to use his connections to suppress the matter. Dad, there's no need. I stopped him once again. I walked into the center of the crowd, my gaze sweeping over the faces filled with curiosity, disdain, and schadenfreude. I whispered softly, "Everyone is right. I was the one who tore the admission ticket." The crowd erupted in an uproar. Duan Jianxian, my parents and the Lin family were stunned, clearly not expecting me to admit it publicly. Lin Jiajiao and Shi Jingran were also taken aback. But then a flicker of satisfaction flashed in their eyes. They thought I was about to give up and let everything go to waste. But I changed the tone and looked at Lin Jiajiao. "Do you dare to tell everyone who threw the first punch?" Lin Jiajiao's face turned pale and she instinctively took a step back. It was me," Qi Jingran suddenly blurted out, kneeling on the ground again and crying out to everyone. "It's my fault. I'm the one who made Brother Jinxian angry. He didn't mean it. Please, stop blaming him." His kneeling instantly pulled all the sympathy back to himself. "Lin Xiaoxiao, did you see that?" I ignored the voices around me, staring only at her. "This is the man you chose. So good at acting. He'd be wasting his talent if he didn't win an Oscar. Since you all love acting so much." I sneered. "Then I'll play along until the end." I turned to Uncle Lin and Aunt Zhou, speaking word by word. "Uncle, and since Xiao and this classmate Qi are so deeply in love that she's even willing to give up the college entrance exam for him, why not just let them be together? I suggest you could have him marry into the Lin family. After all, his family is poor and he has no ties, so he could be the perfect live-in son-in-law to take care of you in your old age." "What nonsense are you talking about?" Aunt Zhou shrieked. Uncle Lin's face also turned dark with anger. "Let their precious daughter, whom they hold in the palm of their hands, marry a penniless man, and even take him in as a live-in son-in-law. This is worse than killing them. How am I talking nonsense?" I spread my hands. "Aren't they true love? True love should be together against all odds. Besides," I looked at Qi Jingran with a meaningful smile. "Classmate Qi is so outstanding. He's bound to make a name for himself in the future and bring the Lin family to great heights. Don't you think so?" Qi Jingran's expression instantly became horribly distorted. Of course, he wanted to climb onto the high branch of the Lin family, but he didn't want to become a son-in-law living under their roof. What he should do is marry a beautiful and wealthy woman and reach the peak of his life, not be pointed at and called a kept man. My words precisely pierced through the hypocritical facade that he and the Lin family parents had maintained. Their appreciation for Jingran was based on the premise that he could bring benefits to the Lin family or at least not become a burden to it. Once core interests were involved, the so-called kindness and understanding became worthless. Just as the situation tense and the atmosphere became extremely awkward, a stern voice rang out. "Everyone, shut up." The crowd automatically parted to make way as the principal, along with the dean of students and several people in uniforms, walked over with grave expressions. I recognized one of the uniformed men. He was a leader from the city's education bureau. Old Li followed at the very back, his face filled with anxiety and helplessness. It seemed he had still reported the matter to the higher-ups. "Principal." Uncle Lin looked like he'd seen a savior, rushing forward. "You've finally arrived. Just look at this mess." The principal's gaze swept over each of us in turn, finally settling on me, his expression complex. "Duan Jinxian, Lin Jiajiao, Qi Jingran," he said solemnly, calling out our names. "The three of you, come with me to the office. As for the other students and parents, please go home. Don't gather here and disrupt the exam order." The principal spoke. and although the onlookers were reluctant, they gradually dispersed. "Dad, Mom, you go back first. I can handle this," I said to my parents. My father looked at me, his eyes filled with concern, but more so with trust. He nodded. "All right, if anything happens, call me right away." Lynn's parents also wanted to follow, but they were stopped by the dean. "Parents, please wait outside. We need to speak with the student first." Amid countless complicated gazes, the three of us, the culprits, followed the principal toward the administrative building. No one spoke along the way. On Lin Jiajiao and Qi Jing Ran's faces was an unmistakable tension and fear. Yet in my heart, there is only a cold, calm stillness. I am quite looking forward to seeing what expressions they will wear when the truth is finally revealed. In the principal's office, the atmosphere was so oppressive it felt suffocating. Sitting in the main seat was Director Wang from the Municipal Education Bureau, his face ashen with anger. The principal and the dean sat on either side, not daring to make a sound. Finally, Director Wang broke the silence. "Tell me, what exactly happened?" Lin Jiajiao immediately rushed to complain. "Director Wang, it was Duan Jinxian. He started it. He was jealous of Jing Ran's talent, afraid that Jing Ran would score higher than him. So, he tore up our exam admission tickets. He wanted to ruin our lives." Sure, Jing Ran also a while lowered his head, his shoulders trembling as he feigned deep sorrow. Director Wang turned to me, his gaze sharp. "Duan Jinxian, is that true?" Before I could speak, the principal hurried to say, "Director Wang, there might be some misunderstanding here." "Principal Li," I interrupted him, meeting Director Wang's gaze calmly. "Classmate Lin Jiajiao is correct. I did tear the admission ticket." Everyone in the office gasped, and old Li anxiously kept giving me meaningful looks. The corners of Lin Jiajiao and Shi Jing Ran's mouths curled up with a hint of smugness. But I shifted gears. "I have a question I'd like to ask Lin Jiajiao. You keep saying I'm jealous of Shi Jing Ran's talent, afraid he might score higher than me. Then let me ask you, does someone who has already been pre-admitted to Tsinghua University's computer science department with a full scholarship really need to envy a person ranked at the bottom of the grade, who is even at risk of not meeting the undergraduate admission threshold?" What? Lin Jiajiao's crying abruptly stopped, her face filled with disbelief. Shi Jing Ran was even more thunderstruck, completely dumbfounded. "A guaranteed admission." The principal coughed awkwardly, took a document from the drawer, and handed it to Director Wang. "Director Wang, these are the recommendation materials for student Duan Jinxian. They were approved last month, with all procedures complete and absolutely authentic." Director Wang took the documents and skimmed through them quickly. He closed the file and looked up at me. "Since you've already been recommended for admission, why are you still taking the college entrance exam?" "To experience life," I replied calmly, "and to see what the average score of our school would be without me." "You." The academic affairs director immediately blew his nose and glared. Director Wang, however, waved his hand, signaling him to stay silent. His gaze turned to Lin Jiajiao and Shi Jing Ran, who were completely stunned. Now, things seemed to have taken a different turn. "Classmate Lin Jiajia, classmate Qi Jing Ran. Can someone who has already been admitted to Tsinghua University out of hand be jealous of a student who can't even pass the undergraduate admission threshold? So, what if he is?" After the initial shock, Lin Jiajia suddenly screamed, "Just because he's been admitted without an exam, just because he has no worries about the future, does that mean he can recklessly ruin other people's futures?" Her eyes were red with anger as she pointed at me, accusing Director Wang. "This just proves how malicious he is. He has a way out, so he wants to block the path for all of us. This is even worse than simple jealousy. I suggest his admission should be immediately revoked." What a perfect example of shifting the blame. I almost want to applaud her for such a bizarre train of thought. Qi Jingran also caught on and immediately followed her lead, lifting his tear-streaked face and looking sorrowfully at Director Wang. "Director, what Lin said is right. He's just taking advantage of his privilege. For ordinary students like us, the college entrance exam is our only chance. But he treats it like a toy he can trample on at will." "Enough." Director Wang raised his hand. halting their clumsy performance. Are you saying that because Duan Jinxing has already been recommended for admission, he has an obligation to stand still and let you tear up his exam admission ticket? Is that it? Lin Jiajia was left speechless by the question. That's not what I meant. I meant he. What is it? I sneered and replied. Are you trying to say I should thank you? Thank you for helping me verify the authenticity of the recommendation spot, so I don't have to go through the college entrance exam as a formality. Or is it that in your world, Miss Lin, everyone should revolve around you like Qi Jingran? You tell him to go east. He won't dare go west. You tell him to die. He'd still smile and hand you the knife. You. Lin Jiajia trembled with anger, unable to utter a single word. Director Wang rubbed his brow, clearly having lost patience with the farce. He turned to the principal. Principal Li. The college entrance exam site is fully covered by surveillance cameras, right? The principal quickly nodded. Yes. Director Wang. There are high-definition cameras at the main gate and in the plaza area, providing complete coverage with no blind spots. Then, bring up the footage. Director Wang declared firmly. The truth will be revealed by the surveillance. Who is right and who is wrong will be clear as day. As soon as these words were spoken, Lin Jiaojiao and Shi Jingran's faces instantly turned deathly pale. And no need for that, right? Lin Jiaojiao's voice carried a hint of obvious guilt. This is just a small misunderstanding between classmates. There's no need to blow things out of proportion. A small misunderstanding. Director Wang's voice lowered. Fabricating facts, slandering classmates, disrupting the order of the college entrance examination, and causing a severe negative social impact online. You call that a minor misunderstanding. If the person sitting here today were not a student who has already been recommended for admission, but an ordinary examinee, would his future be completely ruined by your little misunderstanding? Lin Jiaojiao and Shi Jingran lowered their heads guiltily, unable to say another word. I watched their expressions on the verge of collapse with calm amusement, finding it utterly funny. How pitiful, but I don't feel the slightest bit of sympathy. In less than 10 minutes, the technical staff retrieved the surveillance footage and projected it onto the screen in the office. The high-definition video clearly captured the entire incident. In the video, Lin Jiaojiao lunged at me with a ferocious expression on her face. Before I could even react, she snatched my exam admission ticket and swiftly tore it to shreds. She arrogantly scattered the torn pieces into the air, then stood protectively in front of Shi Jingran, pointing at me and shouting with self-righteous indignation. Every movement, every expression, was clearly captured by the surveillance footage from beginning to end. I remained standing in place. It wasn't until after she had destroyed my exam admission ticket that I suddenly struck back, using the same method to destroy theirs. The truth is out and the evidence is irrefutable. The office was dead silent, with only Shi Jingran's increasingly heavy breathing. The faces of several leaders grew increasingly grim. The homeroom teacher, Old Li, and the principal's expressions seemed to carry a mix of anger, as if thinking, this little brat has caused such a huge mess damage. Is my job on the line? Wang Ju silently watched the entire video, then said in a heavy voice, Lin Jiaojiao, Qi Jingran, what else do you have to say now? Lin Jiaojiao's lips trembled, but she couldn't utter a single word. Qi Jingran was drenched in sweat. He knew he was completely finished. His carefully crafted image of poverty and purity, kindness and innocence, had shattered completely under the irrefutable evidence, leaving not even a trace. Suddenly, as if struck by a thought, he pointed sharply at Lin Jiaojiao and screamed, "It's her. She forced me to do all this. She said she liked me and would help me with everything. She said Duan Jishen's family is rich, so missing one exam wouldn't matter, and with one less competitor, I'd have a chance to get into a top school. Tearing up the exam admission ticket was her idea. Lying and slandering were also taught by her. Director Wang, principal, none of this has anything to do with me. I was just misled by her." To save himself, he unhesitatingly shifted all the blame onto the girl who had professed her love for him and claimed she would do anything for him. Lin Jiaojiao suddenly raised her head. looking at Qi Jingran in disbelief. She stared at this man, one for whom she had been willing to destroy a decade of friendship with me and even give up the college entrance exam, now frantically shifting all the blame onto her. Lin Jiaojiao murmured in despair. Qi Jingran, what are you saying? I'm telling the truth. Qi Jingran had already thrown caution to the wind and continued shifting the blame. I'm just a poor student, timid and afraid of trouble. If she hadn't been constantly whispering in my ear, how would I have dared to do such a thing? Please, I beg you to see the truth. I'm truly innocent. Haha. Lin Jiaojiao was so furious that she burst into laughter instead. She suddenly stood up, rushed over, and slapped Qi Jingran hard across the face. Smack. A crisp sound echoed throughout the entire office. You monster. I must have been blind to fall for you. She attacked Shi Jingran like a madwoman, punching and kicking with all her strength, venting her anger and despair. I argued with my family for you. I turned against my best friend for you. I even gave up the college entrance exam for you. Is this how you repay me? You're not human. You're a liar. A complete and utter piece of trash. The office suddenly descended into chaos. The principal and Old Li hurried over to break up the fight, struggling greatly before finally managing to drag away Lin Jiajia, who had lost her mind. And I watched it all with a cold, detached gaze. Watching this dog-eat-dog farce, my heart remained utterly unmoved. How pitiful and laughable. Every farce must eventually come to an end. Director Wang slammed the table and shouted sternly, "Everyone, be quiet." The entire office instantly fell silent. Lin Jiajia was pinned onto the chair by Old Li, her hair disheveled and her face streaked with tears, looking utterly disheveled. Shi Jingran, on the other hand, covered his swollen cheek, slumped on the ground, trembling uncontrollably, not daring to utter another word. Director Wang's gaze shifted back and forth between the two of them. Finally, he picked up the phone on the desk and dialed a number. Hello. Is this the Municipal Public Security Bureau? This is the National College Entrance Examination Center at City Number 1 High School. 2 candidates are suspected of provoking trouble, maliciously disrupting the order of the college entrance examination, fabricating facts, and spreading rumors online, causing extremely negative social impact. Upon hearing the words Public Security Bureau, both Lin Jiajia and Shi Jingran shuddered violently at the same time. They had thought outcome would be a school disciplinary action or disqualification from the exam, never imagining that the severity of the situation far exceeded their expectations. In accordance with the relevant provisions of the National Education Examination Violation Handling Measures and the Public Security Administration Punishment Law, Director Wang put down the phone and announced coldly, Lin Jiajia and Shi Jingran, your qualifications and results for this year's college entrance examination are hereby invalidated. Moreover, this disciplinary action will be recorded in your personal integrity files. At the same time, given that your actions are suspected of violating the law, the public security authorities will conduct further investigation and take appropriate action. Results invalidated, recorded in the file, and subject to public security investigation. This means that not only is their college entrance examination over for this year, but their future lives will also bear an indelible stain. No, don't. Lin Jiajia shook her head in despair. I don't want to be recorded in the file. My parents will kill me. Qi Jingran was so frightened that he collapsed to the ground, letting out incomprehensible whimpers. Director Wang no longer paid attention to them. He turned to me, his expression much more relaxed. Classmate Duan Jinshin, I'm sorry you've been wronged this time. He paused, his tone carrying a hint of warning. But your way of handling the situation was indeed a bit impulsive. When you go to university and enter society, you'll need to learn to resolve conflicts in a more mature and rational way. Tsinghua University values not only students' academic performance, but also their character. I stood up and gave him a slight bow. Thank you for your guidance, Director Wang. I will remember it. With that, the matter was settled. When I walked out of the office, the hallway was crowded with people. My parents, Uncle Lin and Aunt Jo, along with several school leaders, clearly already knew the outcome. My mom immediately rushed over, took my hand, her eyes reddening. Jinshin, it's okay now. It's all over. My dad patted my shoulder, his eyes filled with undisguised pride and relief. On the other side, Uncle Lin and Aunt Zhou's expressions were extremely grim. As soon as Aunt Zhou saw me, she wanted to rush over and make a scene, but Uncle Lin held her back tightly. Duan Jinshin, you little beast, you've ruined my daughter. I'll fight you to the death. Uncle Lin growled in a low voice. Enough, aren't you already embarrassed enough? Soon, two uniformed police officers walked over and, under the direction of the principal and the dean, took away Lin Jiajia and Qi Jingran, who were still in a daze in the office. Watching them being taken away by the police in such a sorry state, the gathered parents and teachers couldn't help but whisper among themselves. The voices that had criticized me most harshly online have now turned into a torrent of condemnation against Lin Jiaojiao and Shi Jingran. Human nature can be so ironic at times. I didn't look any further. Turning to my parents, I said, Dad, Mom, let's go home. On the way home, the atmosphere in the car was somewhat heavy. My mom wanted to say something, but my dad stopped her with a look. Let the child be quiet for a while. I knew they were worried about me, but inside I was actually quite calm. For Lin Jiaojiao, the bond that had grown from childhood was completely shattered the moment she tore it apart with her own hands today. As for Shi Jingran, he is nothing more than an insignificant clown in my life, not even worthy of my attention. When I got home, I locked myself in my room and slept for a long, dark time. When I woke up, it was already the evening of the next day. There were many missed calls and messages on my phone, some from old Lee and others from classmates. I glanced at them briefly, just apologies and superficial concerns. I didn't reply and immediately switched my phone to silent mode. During dinner, my dad told me that Uncle Lin had called him several times, wanting to arrange a meeting, but he had refused each time. Our family doesn't owe them anything. My father said calmly, if you do something wrong, you must pay the price. That's only natural. I nodded without saying a word. A few days later, the verdict on Lin Jiaojiao and Shi Jingran was announced. They were given 15 days of administrative detention for disturbing public order and provoking trouble. And Shi Jingran fared even worse than Lin Jiaojiao. My father used some connections to thoroughly investigate his deception, posing as a poor student while scamming multiple women out of both their feelings and money. The girls he had deceived, upon learning the truth, joined forces and took him to court. The amount of fraud was enormous, and he faced a long prison sentence. As for the Lin family, it is said that because of this incident, their stock plummeted and their reputation was ruined. And Shou couldn't bear the blow and fell seriously ill. While Uncle Lin seemed to age 10 years overnight, their once proud daughter became the laughingstock of the entire city and a stain that could never be erased. A month later, I received the official admission letter from Tsinghua University. My parents were even more excited than I was, eagerly arranging a grand celebration for my academic advancement. Just a day before the celebration, I received an unexpected phone call. It was Lin Jiajia. Her voice was weary but filled with resentment. Duan Jianxian, are you feeling quite proud now? Fine, I said flatly. Not that I'm proud of it. Just feel like everything's back on the track it should be on. There was a long silence on the other end of the line. So long that I thought she had hung up. Then, I heard her stifled sobs. I was wrong. Jianxian, I really know I was wrong. I shouldn't have believed that liar Qi Jingran. Shouldn't have been blinded by greed. Shouldn't have done such terrible things to you. Can you forgive me? We grew up together. Have you forgotten how we used to? Lin Jiajia. I interrupted her. Some things, once broken, can never be pieced back together. The exam admission ticket is, and so is our friendship. After I finished speaking, I hung up the phone directly and then added her number to the blacklist. I will not forgive her. Her apology is nothing more than remorse after paying a painful price for her own foolishness and impulsiveness. What she regrets is not that she did something wrong, but that she chose the wrong person, took the wrong side, and ended up losing everything. Such an apology is cheap and hypocritical. The college celebration banquet was quite lively. Amidst the clinking of glasses, one of my dad's business partners, a highly respected elder, pulled me aside. He patted my shoulder and said with emotion, Jianxian, I heard about what happened this time. You did well. I was somewhat surprised. Well, yes, that's right. The old man smiled. Young man, it's good to have pride. But pride alone isn't enough. You also need brains and tactics. This world isn't just black and white. Sometimes, to deal with petty people, you have to use methods even harsher than theirs. Remember, kindness must come with an edge. Your kindness should only be given to those who deserve it. I looked at him, lost in thought, then raised my glass. I understand. Uncle Chin, I'll toast you.